Anthony Lawrence was a man known for the amazing work he did with a herd of rogue elephants. He had bought a game reserve in KZN, which was called Tula Tula, and had set up a beautiful lodge there in the wildlife. Then one day he got a phone call asking if he was interested in taking a herd of rogue elephants. If he said no, these elephants would be killed. They were major escape artists, and their owners were so tired of fighting to keep these dangerous animals contained. The herd's matriarch, who was leading all of these escapes, had already been put down, as they hoped that would stop this dangerously aggressive herd from constantly breaking out. But it didn't. This herd had been through so much culling and even watched their matriarch get killed. Her son, which was a young bull of the herd, was so traumatized and had become so aggressive and dangerous that he couldn't be around people at all. Anthony wasn't willing to let these animals die, and so he agreed to take the elephants, and the team rushed to prepare the lodge for these elephants. It was a large game reserve and they had enough space, but there was lots of work to be done. Even though Anthony had no previous experience with nature conservation or with elephants, he wanted to do this. He wanted to save these animals because he felt they deserved a second chance. He and his team spent 2 weeks working to get the place ready. They had to fortify the electric fence, check everything, and build a boma which they could put the elephants in. The plan was to put the elephants in the boma, and after a few days or weeks, when the elephants are ready, release them into the rest of the reserve. So that day came when the elephants would arrive, and there was absolute chaos. The elephants were late, and there was some difficulty getting them into the boma. However, after a lot of struggle, it was all fine. The elephants were in the boma, and everything was all right. The elephants were left to wake up in peace so that they could recover and process where they were without the stress. So there they were left that night to wake up in peace and be okay. And the next morning at 5 a.m., when they came to check on and feed these great animals, the boma was empty. And there weren't any elephants anywhere at all. They had broken out. Anthony and his team searched everywhere for the elephants and soon realized that the elephants weren't even in the reserve anymore. There was chaos again. They got into their vehicles and raced out, searching for the herd, and they arranged for helicopters to come, and eventually they found the elephants making a beeline for their previous home. It was a huge mission to get these aggressive animals darted and put back into the trucks and moved back to Tula Tula. The KZN Wildlife was told Anthony that if these elephants escape again, they were going to have to put them all down. They wanted to put down the matriarch, Nana, down right there and then, but Anthony was an extremely persuasive man and he convinced them not to. So the elephants were moved back to the boma and woke up again. Anthony decided, along with a young man named David who worked with him, that they couldn't leave these elephants alone, so they set up camp right next to the boma and refused to leave. These elephants were beyond aggressive towards them and even tried to break the fence a few times. But Anthony would go stand on the other side of the fence at a safe distance and try to persuade the elephants to leave the fence alone. Somehow, it worked. After about 3 weeks, Anthony was growing tired and he wasn't sure if he was going to be able to do anything for these elephants. And one day, Nana moved to the fence and reached out to him. So he took a big risk and stepped closer than he should. But instead of hurting him or showing any aggressiveness, Nana, the matriarch, she just reached out and touched the top of his head. And that's when Anthony knew that it was time to release them. And that was the beginning of a long journey to rehabilitate these traumatized elephants. Through the years, Anthony built such a strong bond with all of them, especially the young bull and Nana the matriarch. And soon he became known as the Elephant Whisperer. Not only did he save the lives of these beautiful animals, but he also restored their faith in humans and gave them a home where they could be safe and free. After many beautiful years with these elephants, Anthony passed away, and even to this day, on the anniversary of his death, These elephants will come right up to the lodge and stay for a while, as if mourning him. Nobody knows how these elephants know which day he died on, as his death wasn't even at the reserve, but their loyalty remains strong, and I think it's a beautiful thing. What started as 7 aggressive elephants is now a breeding herd of 21 relaxed animals who call Tula Tula their home, and it's all thanks to Anthony Lawrence, the elephant whisperer.